Hello, and welcome to my Genius Hour presentation. My name is Kristina Sawyer, and this is my research project on the Genius Hour. We're going to start here at the beginning, and I just want to let you know where a lot of my research was coming from is a writer named A.J. Giuliani, who did a lot of research into the Genius Hour and has produced a lot of resources to help teachers get involved in it as well. So we'll start here in the middle with choice-driven inquiry. This is a really important kind of buzzword, big topic for a lot of teachers nowadays. And what the research shows is that when students have a choice, they actually learn more and they learn better. So giving them opportunities, letting them have some autonomy over their own education really helps them become better learners. And as we talk about that, when you give them a project like Genius Hour, as we'll find out a little bit later, each student actually gets to do their own project on their own time, or in the words here, gets to climb their own mountain. So this allows them to really have an opportunity to work at their own speed on their own project and come up with their own ideas, which is really giving a lot of responsibility and options to our students. So you might ask, how do you introduce this to students? How do you get them excited about it? How do you get them involved in it? One of the things you can do is ask a couple different questions. These are the ones that I came up with. Who wants to be a 21st century learner? How do we do that? What does that look like to be someone who's learning and preparing themselves for the future careers, for future jobs, for future cooperative learning experiences? And one of the things that you can point out for the students is that Google actually did something really interesting and really different from other companies. And they actually gave their employees a full day in the week, 20% of their time, to do whatever they wanted with. You can present this to the students. What would you do with your free time? And then you can also look up, or have the students look up, what is the history of the Post-it note? How was the Post-it note made? What will they discover? And they'll actually discover that the Post-it note was something that was come up with during this 20% free time option for employees. Then when you present it to students, one of the resources that I found during a lot of these Genius Hour webinars that I listened to is that one of the things you can get actually on Teachers Pay Teachers is this Genius Hour notebook. And you'll start with, what is the Genius Hour? So you're giving the kids their passion, time to learn and create, and then combining it with a purpose. And the purpose can be a presentation or a written response or just chatting in the classroom, whatever you want it to be. And we'll get into that when we get to the grading section of this presentation. But introducing Genius Hour, helping them to find their passion. And then you have a couple other tabs that are in this notebook that you can present to the students, how to plan for their Genius Hour, a journal to create some of the reflections that we want them to be thinking about, and then at the end, how are they going to present their information to the class, the community, whoever they're presenting to. So I just want to give you a quick summary of some of the examples from some students that I found. So I'm just going to play part of this video here.
I am creating my own song to express myself in music. We are making our own DIYs because I'd rather make them than buy them in the store. I am creating my own song to express myself.
I'm working on a Minecraft server where you can control Earth, water, fire, or air, so I can learn how to code some video game stuff. I'm working on a Minecraft server where I can learn how to code some video game.
I am making a Lego stop motion animation. I'm building a website from scratch to showcase my friends what DSR projects.
I think what really comes across to me in these videos is the kids are working together, they're being cooperative, and they're really excited about what they're putting together. And everything's really unique. You can tell that they came up with it themselves, and it really relates to them as people. So I think that's one of the really exciting things about this project is that they are obviously passionate about what they're doing. And I think that's a great thing to connect students with in terms of learning, is that passion. So then you might be thinking, well, this is a great idea, but I'm sure it has its challenges. And just like anything you might want to implement, of course it has its challenges. So we'll start with challenges for the students. If you give them access to anything they want, the internet, of course distraction is too easy to encounter. And especially with less structure, they might be caught playing games or doing something off task or looking at ads. But I think a lot of this is when they're involved in something they're really passionate about, they're going to be excited about it, and they're not going to be as distracted as they might be with other material in class that's less exciting for them personally. Another key point here is setting clear rules for your students so they know what they can and can't do during this time in terms of safety and just following school rules. Another thing is teaching them how to research. I read a lot of articles that talked about the chaos that might ensue when you give all these students all this free time. And so I think setting up clear boundaries of this is how you find out about something you want to find out about is another really important life skill that can be taught during this Genius Hour time in your classroom. Then another thing is helping students find their passion can sometimes be really difficult. They might not know what they're passionate about. They also might lose their passion for a topic after a short time. So one of the ways you can help prevent that is by using a passion bracket, which is kind of like a March Madness bracket. You get students to write down a whole bunch of things they're really excited about and then kind of narrow it down to what they're most excited about. And another way to do this is to have them create kind of an introductory response paper or something where they're investing in their topic at the beginning, so they're less likely to be switching topics back and forth all the time. Then this was a quote that I found really interesting. We've given students the freedom to learn what they want, but with that freedom comes more responsibility than some students are used to. They no longer have the reward or punishment of traditional learning hanging over their heads, and for some of them, this gives them all the reason in the world to do nothing. And this is definitely something you'll encounter or might encounter in your students, and working through that and finding what they're really passionate about, I think is a good learning experience for the students and for the teacher, and something that can be overcome and might help them become better, inquisitive students in the future. The other thing you might encounter is that students might have a hard time thinking outside the box, coming up with crazy topics to explore, and that's because they only know what they know. They need to be prodded to think bigger, to be more creative, and to think not just about school stuff. In this Genius Hour time, they can research anything. And I think a lot of students might start out with, oh, well, I'm going to learn about math because that's what we're doing in school. And I think teaching them how to research and what they can research is a really important step in this process. Then you might encounter some challenges in terms of teachers. Letting go is hard. Us as teachers, we want to have that control of our classroom. Freedom can lead to chaos, not what you want to have in a classroom. So remembering as we go that it's about the process, not the product. And watching students learn might be more important than what they learn or produce at the end. They might be learning important skills on their way to get there. And then just noticing and realizing that our role in our planning has kind of different rules during this time, and we kind of have to adjust that because the students are really in charge of what they want and the direction they're going. And then also, kind of on the flip side of that, it's still really important to provide structure. And structure can actually nurture rather than hinder innovation in this case. If you don't give them any structure, it might create chaos. Another interesting quote that I found, you don't need to create the desire as a teacher. Students want to learn. Instead, our job is to help students connect their existing desires to this project as a new purpose for learning. So taking things they want to know and helping them realize that, yes, they can find them out, they can go there. That brings us up to the administration. You might have some pushback versus like how you can find time to put this into your schedule, getting support from your administrators, technical issues. Do you have computer access? Do you have internet access? Do you have access to all the websites you need? YouTube might be blocked, which it is in my district, which is difficult to have students learn about some things when they can't see some of these informational videos that would be really helpful for them to see. And I think in this case, if you're encountering that kind of pushback, start small. Do something like a mini Genius Hour and then show it off and see how they react to that. So show them the research, show them the projects, and then show them the kids, show them how excited those kids are, and see if you can make some steps towards helping administration realize how important this might be. Then you might also encounter